Alright, hello everybody. Good day to y'all. Welcome back to more Halo 2 Rebalance development. Let me turn down the saving here, it's really loud. Alright, so we are on the last stretch of High Charity. We are going to be working on the cut Warthog run of Halo 2. While also showing off some of the stuff that we previously done on this mission. So, the Warthog run in Halo 2, as you know, is pretty short, if you've seen Uncut, and VonDoom's restoration and speculative, like, reconstructing of that. So I thought it could probably do with some extending to make it get more out of it and make it extra climactic. So we're gonna do some tweaking of the Warthog run on this stream to match our liking. You might also already notice some differences right off the bat as we dive in here. And also some technical stuff we'll have to work on too to make sure the Warthog run is actually traversable from start to end. But I already done some work on the Warthog run, and I have basically like doubled the length of the whole run. So made it longer while also cutting down on the downtime which is spent going through these tubes. I actually halved the lengths of these tubes that you ride through, so you're not spending nearly as much time in them. But yeah, first thing we're gonna do though for this stream is I'm gonna show you the encounter before the power conduit here, which is the Inner Sanctum encounter in vanilla, which was very difficult and tense with a lot of respawning flood and getting into the Prophet's inner chamber and all that. So we're gonna show that off first, and then I'm gonna show Halo 2 Uncut's rendition of the Warthog run to get an idea for what it would have been if Bungie had the time to implement it, and then that'll inform how we want to expand on and or change it, or what kind of ideas we want to adapt from Halo 2 Uncut to implement into this Warthog run. But yeah, first let's jump into tag test on legendaries so we can show off the Inner Sanctum encounter preceding the Warthog run, just so you can get a taste of some of the semi-finished content. Plan on recreating any of the stuff found in the leaks regarding the Warthog run in particular? What kind of leaked ideas were there for the Warthog run? How will the cinematic work? As in the ending cinematic of the Warthog run? It'll be exactly the same. I will structure the Warthog run to where it leads into the cinematic, the end cinematic of vanilla, and how that plays out naturally. I have to unplug my controller because stick drift is getting registered. Okay, let's show off the Inner Sanctum. Gotta sit through some optimization scripts first, and also let's pause the music. Jazz music stops. Recreating the closer to the ship skybox? Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make a bunch of new skyboxes to represent High Charity's deterioration, and also you getting closer to the ship. So many optimization scripts I have to sit through first. There we go. Okay. This is the end of the Garden B encounter. we worked on the last stream. Let me turn tag dust down, by the way. What music will I be using for the Warthog run? I'm not sure yet. I don't know why when tag dust goes full screen, it like disappears from OBS. A bunch of the scenery here is still gonna be missing, because I still have to get to the scenery pass of this level. Guarantee a checkpoint to the player as soon as they get to the top of the elevator here. For this encounter, I wanted to be a sort of test of bobbing and weaving between fighting the Covenant defense versus keeping the flood off of your back as they respawn.
This crisis will not be the end of us. It is one last hurdle before the journey and salvation.
What killed me there? Also, I got the Brute Flood Honor Guards attacking. That damn Sniper Jackal's still back there. Because of course he would be.
This crisis will not be the end of us. It is but one last hurdle before the journey and salvation.
So much destruction. These things are destructible if you didn't know. They've always been like that. That's some Jackal Ultras he's doing. Gotta do some more scenery polish in here as well. And then the dialogue of Cortana's commentary on the sides of the war have been moved to Gravemind instead, because I feel like that dialogue makes a lot more sense there as opposed to here randomly. Okay, and then the power conduit encounter is completely not implemented at all yet. That's one of the things we're going to work on for the stream, at least the skeleton for this encounter, so we can get right into designing for the Warthog encounter. But yeah, gotta rebuild this encounter from scratch here, which we'll do on this stream, not entirely anyway. We're gonna focus on mostly the Warthog run. But yeah, we can take a quick dive through that, unless the mission just ends, which yeah. But yeah, the first thing we need to focus on for this stream though is getting the Warthog run this rebuilt version of the Warthog run to be drivable from start to end, obviously. Because been restructured a lot, so I need to do a lot of tweaking with the like transport tubes and all that. Got this platform here that I'm gonna build around and make sure vehicles can have enough room for vehicles and for you to drive off into. And speaking of which, there's actually a bit of instance geometry here that I placed that should be probably not in the frame. Now let me get this and this, and it needs to be in the frame so it actually gets imported. Okay, so let's load up Halo to Uncut real quick. Get to the end Warthog run segment so we can get that in our mind bank for about what it would have looked like before we rebuild it. Okay, we'll just fly through the mission to get to the Warthog run.
Blood-controlled dropships are touching down all over the city. That creature beneath the library, that grave mind, used us. We were just a diversion. In amber-clad. I'll disable this lift once you reach the top. That'll slow them down. I hope.
Shall we let the flood consume our holy city? Turn high charity into a home their wretched heart.
There's a conduit connecting this tower to the ship. Head back inside. I'll lead you to it. I'll do what I can to slow the launch sequence. Something inside the ship, a presence. Fighting back. For a Covenant construct,
I don't know of any way to get to the Warthog run faster than this, even with Acrophobia on. I think the way the mission is built, you have to go through all the encounters and triggers. Please turn down CC also.
spores have contaminated the life support infrastructure. The filtration systems are overloading.
The parasite did not defeat the Forerunners, and it shall not defeat us.
Arrogant creature. Your deaths will be instantaneous.
The amount of flood biomass is increasing exponentially. There are reports of infestations in every district.
What ideas did the Cut Warthog run uncovered by Dig Site inspire you for this segment? I don't know of any Dig Site ideas for the Cut Warthog run. All of this is just stemming from content that was left in the game and also restored by VonDoom that shows us about an approximation of what Bungie would have had. We have to hit a trigger before coming up here, or it's waiting for the elevator to get to a certain point. Probably have to be on the elevator. Trigger volume associated with it. There we go.
Crisis will not be the end of us. It is but one last hurdle before the journey and salvation.
Brood and the lead ships are engaging one another all around High Charity. I'm running out of options, Chief. I can't stall the launch sequence much longer. The next lift will take you up to the conduit. Hurry! If it makes you feel any better, I'm locking the doors behind you to keep some of the blood off your back.
I don't know why you waited this long to say that, Cortana. Okay.
I knew the Covenant was good at repurposing Forerunner technology.
So this is about an approximation of what Bungie would have done with the Warthog run as rebuilt by VonDoom. Adam. Oh Jesus, that's one of the things that I'm gonna change to is instead of having, oh god, I love you Halo 2, I love your checkpoints, you're such a good fucking game, you're such a well-built video game, I love you Halo 2. That's one of the things that I'm definitely going to change is instead of having a tiny bridge appear, I'm gonna have a grab lift propel you into the conduit instead, so that stuff like that doesn't happen. It wasn't even the fall that killed me, it was the bridge spawning in that just sliced me in half.
I can't stall the launch sequence much longer. The next lift will take you up to the conduit. Hurry!
There's also some fun dialogue from Cortana that we're going to use during the Warthog run. I don't think even Uncut used.
I knew the Covenant was good at repurposing Forerunner technology, but this is amazing. They've been using the Forerunner ship's engines as an energy source.
Thank you.
so much launch.
This is why I extended the platform here to give more room for the Warthog and also more room for you to get into the run itself.
Truth. That's all that matters.
But yeah, I really like the geometry they made for the Warthog run here. I think it's super fun to drive through. It's just a shame that it's really, really short. There's only 2 of these like cylinders you go through. So I'm adding 2 more. And then also for these tube transport sections, I am gonna cut these in half so they don't take nearly as long to get through, which I've already done. We just need to figure out getting the mechanism for propelling the player forward set up to accommodate for the shorter length of these. I really like the placement of the shadow, it's really fun. A lot of the encounter and enemy placements here were speculative on the part of Vadim, but I think he made some very smart decisions with all of these asset placements and enemy placements. One thing definitely too is I'm gonna have to adjust a lot of the emissive lights in these cylinders as well, because I think it is a tad too dark, even with the Warthog's headlights. Kind of hard to see the paths. And then that's the end of it. Really, really short. So we're gonna get a feel for how long my extended segment plays out. But before we can do that, we need to get the functionality for propelling the player forward into these tubes back and running again, because the object that propels the player forward is like, since I halved the length of these tubes here, I need to adjust the object that propels you forward to accommodate as well. So I think I have a pretty good idea of how to accomplish that, at least on the tag side of things right now. So that I think that all of that is handled within the object's physics tag. It's a very strange object, but it's handled all within the object's physics tag. What I think I need to do is I need to have this value, the which accounts for the world units that the end that is at the end and that is at the middle, all of that stuff. So what we're gonna do is first thing we're gonna try is just like dividing these numbers in half and then seeing if it works then. So let's say alright, this will go 187 world units, and then the end of it will go 835 world units divided by 2, 417. Okay. So let's see if that works at all, or if it just straight up crashes the game. We'll find out together. The fucking sapient not believer my mouse focus. Revisit any earlier missions to put some touches on them yourself? Not for ones that we deliberately decided not to touch the BSPs for. There are certain BSPs in this game that I deliberately decided wouldn't get changed, because certain things with the light maps would look worse, because Halo 2 editing kits light mapper is just broken compared to what Bungie had, unfortunately, in certain ways. Okay, so all of the propelling forward is handled by these crate objects, weirdly. Very unlike any other item I've seen in Halo 2. But yeah, this is how it works. So we need to see if we can get this working as intended. For some reason, it works based on like the PVS set on the object, so like the game's rendering focus system. Okay, so this is the first one. Need to make sure it works correctly, that it drops you at the end as it should, instead of like propelling you completely straight forward like this. I need to find the function by which it stops propelling the player forward. And I think that is based on the distance that it's the end part of it is set as. Okay, so that looks like the end part of it. So it looks like we just need to shorten it even more. So let's play around with this until it dumps us out at the end of the tube, as it should. For some reason, it doesn't work unless you set the game's render focus onto the object. Honestly, it doesn't look like the point at which it dumps you out changed at all. Let me revert the changes on this tag. Okay, those changes are reverted. Yeah, of course I'm gonna place alternate vehicles, little dude, in case the player somehow loses the Warthog. I'm gonna put ghosts, specters, stuff like that. If this doesn't work, then it'll probably require changing the render model and polyhedra attributes of this object. So it's half the length of what it is now. I do plan for the Warthog run to be timed in a certain way. There's not going to be a timer on screen because Halo 2 doesn't have that scripting functionality from Halo 1. Oh, thank you, David.
On the Vanity Recut mod, there was a brief moment where elites and brutes worked together to fight the Flood on High Charity. Are you gonna use that for H2R, or
No.
are you planning to go with the four-way battle between
I don't think the
elite,
Brutes and Flood would team up in this
Flood, and
context,
Master
even if the
Chief?
Flood are going crazy on them. I think they would still be at each other's throats. Thank you, David, for the $5, and thank you for using Streamlabs. Okay, it looks
On
like
the
the
Vanity
adjustment I
Recut
made
mod,
did have an effect
there was a
on
brief
where it
moment
ended,
where
so let's
elites
keep
and brutes
messing with
worked
that.
together to fight the Flood on High Charity. Are you gonna use that for H2R, or are you planning to go with the four-way battle between elite, brutes, Flood, and Master Chief?
Probably reset. Does it end? Okay, looks like I got it to about where it should end. to make sure. Send the green man through. Yeah, it's about where it should be. It needs to be needs to keep making it shorter and shorter until it's where it should be. Okay, we're almost there. It should slow down a lot by the time you get to the end. That should be how it functions. There's a lot of blind editing here when you're just doing stuff through tags as opposed to working with the model itself. Okay. It drops you off a bit early, but almost there. Gotta make sure it also doesn't fling you out at such a high speed that you'll smack it against the wall and die as when you get out. Almost. I don't think it's going to be as long as Halo 1 or 3, but it is going to be double the length of what it would have been. Okay, I think this isn't the right value. Thank you.
Love the work you're doing and
Chair.
can't wait to play H2R.
Chair,
Out
Chari.
of curiosity, are there any plans, even if after 3R, to add more cut content like things from the 1749 build to CER? Like
CER?
what Nerdy Destroyer is doing?
I consider CER a complete package, but there is still a lot of polishing that can be done and a lot of secret stuff that could be added. Who knows? Oh, I hate that twice. I'll fix it someday.
Love the work you're doing and can't wait to play H2R. Out of curiosity, are there any plans, even if after 3R, to add more cut content like things from the 1749 build to CER? Like what Nerdy Destroyer
Become like a
is
trademark
doing?
of my stream by this point. It's just the fucking notification playing twice. That's how you know you're watching my stream. Oh, it actually dropped me off a lot sooner there. There's a lot of blindly poking around happening right now. This is the best thing you've ever cooked. I'm very proud of everything we've done so far, that's for sure. I mean, it's shorter. Or it's not having any effect at all, I can't tell. Thank you, Juicebox.
Have you by chance discussed what you and your team are choosing for the soundtrack? Or thoughts on the subject?
For the Warthog
Also
run?
curious on your thoughts about using the Cut Hoobastank song? the lyrics were thematically relevant like BB and Eyes Were Eyes.
Not sure yet. We'll have to see. I'll decide on that kind of stuff after I'm done with the encounter design of this place. Oh, okay. Getting close. I still need to figure out how to get it to slow you down, because I know it slows you down at the very end in how it is normally. I'll take a look at that geometry after the stream, Texel. True, Azrai. Halo 2's almost out of early access. Okay, I think that makes the full length, but the speed still needs to be adjusted. Let me test it out when you're in a Warthog. Oops, I need to set the PBS on it. Yeah, definitely need to slow that down at some point. We'll see. We'll see if the distance for this is what controls that. I don't know. Do I need to reset the map? I don't think I do. I don't know if that had any effect. Looks like that value is having an effect. Let me try adjusting this again. Okay, so that's dropping me off earlier. I think I need to find a balance between these two values, I think. Is what is happening. Thank you, Doug.
Hi, Ruby. Are you planning to implement health packs and health to H3R, or are you planning to keep it traditional?
Yes.
I, for one, would love to see health packs in Halo 3.
Plan to handle the balancing the same way I do in H2R. Getting flipped in a vehicle while in first person is very nauseating. Okay, I think we're getting there.
Hi, Ruby. Are you planning to implement health packs and health to H3R, or are you planning to keep it traditional? I, for one, would love to see health packs in Halo 3.
I love my health packs. I love the cut Halo 3 health pack equipment looks really cool. I'm definitely gonna be using that. Just need to get it functional right now. I'll polish it later so we can actually work on this. Still way too fucking fast. I'm gonna get obliterated against the wall. Need to figure out how to best get the slowdown function working. Thank you, Doug, for the $3.
Halo 3 had health packs as equipment? That's news to me. That
Yeah,
sounds rad.
the design
Do
for
you
it looks
have any
really
idea
cool.
of how that worked, or is there not much info?
Pretty much, I think it pretty much just would have been you carry it with you, you get a free health refill. So I think the main tube part of it is the slower part, and the end tube part of it controls the fast part. We'll see.
What? Halo 3 had health packs as equipment? That's news to me. That sounds rad. Do you have any idea of how that worked, or is there not much info?
I believe there were a debug command to render the polyhedra. I don't know if there is. What I should probably try doing is applying like a percentage base adjustments to each value. That would probably be much more efficient to get what I want. Okay, let me undo the changes to this tag. And then let's try applying the reducing each value here to like 25% of what it is currently. Alright, let's see what the game thinks about that. For some reason, these objects don't work unless the PBS is set on them. Okay, it looks like that is working properly, as it should. I just need to extend the length of it. Let me undo the changes to the tag again. Alright, now let's try a 30% difference instead. What kind of scenarios and counter do you have planned for the run? Halo 2 Uncut does a lot of cool things based on the cut ideas from the script that I'm definitely going to take cues from. But other than that, there is going to be a lot of original ideas I'll have to devise on my own, which we will get into. Okay, let's try this. Okay, let's try a 45% instead. I mean, I did reduce it by half, it's just that the exact sweet spot might be something in particular. Where am I? Okay, I'm in the right spot. Okay, it's dropping me where I should be. It's just the fact that we're still not decelerating like we should. So let's see here. It's probably the speed is probably that it should be is probably being messed with by the fact that its length that is shortened by half. So let's go up to the Phantom type up here. See if we can find the speed associated with the very end of it. And it looks like this would probably be the speed associated with the end because it goes from max velocity of 50 to like 10 here. So let's cut that in half and see what that looks like. And then also the direction acceleration, let's increase that to like 14 so we slow down faster as well. I don't know, acceleration also accounts for deceleration. Well, I clipped through geometry this time, so that's not exactly a good sign. I don't think I've ever seen an instance of clipping through geometry like that ever in Halo 2. Bonk. I don't think this is the correct value to look at least. Let's see. Try cutting this in half. It's as long as it should be. I just need to adjust the speed values along the way. Oh. Probably it controls the, like, overall velocity and acceleration of the thing, but let me adjust that just to see. Yeah, that's the overall velocity of the whole thing. Does not seem to affect the ending velocity. What about axis max velocity? What if I cut that in half? Nope. Okay, that's not doing anything either. I love blindly poking around in tags. It's my favorite Halo 2 pastime. Cut all of these in half and see what happens. No effect there either. Let's try this part then. The fact that it's clipping me through the geometry is crazy. Halo 2 is normally very good about not clipping through geometry. This is a very, very weird object. No effect. Oh, there are also these values at the bottom. Check those as well. 45 and 90, 130. Let's cut that in half. This is for alignment, though. these are not having any effect. Zero means do nothing. So let me try this. Try setting some acceleration values for this part here. No effect again. Okay. Increasing the acceleration. None of these are having any effect. Let's see, try this. Well, that shot me even farther. Try something. What if I input a negative velocity? Although that would also risk sucking the player back in once they lose all their speed, so I'll have to see about that. That doesn't have any effect. Ugh, I really need to like go Scorched Earth on this or something and just input some ridiculous values just to see what affects what. And messing with these values doesn't seem to have any effect at all. I don't know what that did. yeah, no effect. I need to keep playing with the placement values. The polyhedra. My YouTube chat keeps freezing again. So annoying. I have to refresh it. The physics here should work the same regardless of if the player's in a Warthog or not. Having any effect. Might have something to do with the fact that I have to set PVS on this thing. I honestly don't know how this thing works very well at all. It is a very strange object. I do know how it's supposed to behave. It seems that seemed to have some effect in letting you down a bit sooner. I don't know about slowing you down, though. It lets you down sooner, but it doesn't slow you down sooner. See, the only thing I can control is when it stops affecting you, not when the slowdown kicks in, which is what's confusing me. Fucking chat froze again. Right, let me try messing around with the tube entry, then see what kind of effects we get from it. No change. What if I bring these two values closer together? Did that have a tangible difference? Maybe. Keep bringing these numbers closer together. Okay, now they're nearly the same. Yeah, I don't think that's having a meaningful effect. It's clipping me through the geometry. I revert the changes on the stack again. So the slowdown should still be working, though, when you reach the endpoint. Wherever the endpoint is here. These tunnels are so fucking long the way they were before I halved the length of them. And there it slows down. Okay, so oh wait, it's going infinitely for some reason. Okay, then it dropped me. Okay, this thing behaves really weirdly. I'm just gonna get it to the point where it gets you there, as long as it doesn't kill the player. it's workable for now. I will polish it up later to work properly. I just need to get the Warthog run functional from start to end on a basic level. Let's just get these all at a percentage of 35%. Too short. Just by a little. Need to get it to launch you smoothly into the chamber without outright colliding you into the wall. A little bit less. Okay, just a tiny bit more and then it should be fine. Okay. Now, theoretically, should be possible to get from the start to the end. I'll get that working as it should be later. But then there's this opening part here, which I need to get the player onto the thing, which I think I will just, for the moment, I'm just gonna make a temporary tag for the start here. That'll handle that. Let me just make it like a duplicate tag of here with its own physics, tag. For temporary placeholder of getting you in there. We can get to designing the encounter. This, the Warthog run. Okay, just make duplicates of these. That'll probably be temporary. Okay, and then these will just be a much shorter length, just to launch you in. So what is the world units between here and there? That is about 30 world units. Make those the potatoes. All right, let's get it in here. get that all going. That shouldn't be active at all until I actually set the PBS on it. There it goes. Okay, need to shorten that. More. Probably doesn't need to be this fast either. The glorified gravity booster. Whee! To visualize these volumes in Sapien, we'll definitely add some sort of visual effect to them later. Need to be able to get into it both in a vehicle and on foot. Okay, really does not need to be that long at all. It needs to be like a burst of gravity. Nice. Okay. Let's see how it feels with the Warthog. And a Gun Goose. Because I will actually want to have you have a Gun Goose available to take as well as the Warthog if you so choose. I did not set the fucking PBS on it, god damn it. Let me just place the Warthog and Gun Goose here together. Warthog, Gungo. Whichever one you want to take, because I think the Gun Goose works really well for this kind of level design. Woo! Probably need to adjust. Let's hold on. Let me move it down so the camera isn't clipping into the conduit beam. Nice. Okay, now let's slow it down. Also, if I go back here, will I get sucked back into it, or am I just gonna fall into the void? I'm just gonna fall into the void. That's fine. Okay, let me slow it down now, so it doesn't go quite as fast. Slow it down by like half. Have all of these values. Settle down, Warthog. That works pretty well. That works pretty well, provided you get your angle correctly. Hold on, that's probably what the alignment values here are for. Yeah. That's probably for making sure the player's facing forward, so let's keep those as is. Straightens you out when you get into it. Okay, that feeling more and more reasonable. Ah! Longer. Is it not responding to longer? Well, it might be because the length of it won't change unless I do a map reset. It's probably way too long now. Oh, nope. Actually... like, continuing... like a magnet at the bottom of the conduit thing. Having an effect. Fucking bastard. Why is this not having an effect? The problem is I think it's extended this far out into the geometry. Yeah. Okay. That trigger again. Alright, that'll work for now. Set the PVS of all of these tubes. Make sure it's drivable from start to end. Put them all active. Even though I definitely won't have them all active at once, because that would be like game rendering them all of the geometry around surrounding all of them at once would be very catastrophic. I can only have one PVS set on them at a time, I think. Hold on. PVS clear, that object, trans 1. Okay, there we go. The way these things function is very, very bizarre. I don't understand it well. Alright, that fucking vaporizes you, but it still gets you over there, so that'll do for today's stream as long as it doesn't outright kill me. Alright, PVS clear again. Wonder how I will have to handle this co-op, though. Considering only one of them can be active at a time. That'll be something for me to solve off-stream. Gotta get to the encounter design part here of this part already. Make sure this doesn't kill me. Survivable. That'll do for our testing purposes today. For some reason the conduit isn't going all the way through here. Need to fix that. Oops, I forgot to set the PBS for this. Bonk. Final stretch here. And then that's the end of the mission. Whee! You get launched out one last time. I'll have to forcibly dismount the player from their vehicle as well. Spider hog. Alright. That'll do just for getting things set up. Okay, let me go through here and make sure the conduit goes all the way through like it should. Alright, so there's some of it missing here. Fix that. Should connect it all the way through where it should need to be. For some reason it overlaps this one. Need a shorter version? Is there a shorter version? That's missing from this part as well. This one is extended as far as it should be. I think I messed up the length of them at some point. Yeah, I think this is supposed to be going way back. Supposed to start a new. It's supposed. This one's supposed to be over here. Connect these. Probably because I started a new segment where there's not supposed to be one. Because I extended the whole thing. Alright, that'll work for now. What is the Cov Chubby? That's the little curved columns that are commonly placed for cover. Alright, let's set up the skeletons for both Power Conduit encounter and the Warthog run, which are both going to be considered their own encounters. I haven't even opened the scripts yet today. Alright. Let's get those set up. Power Conduit would have been the last encounter in the mission before we ended the Warthog run. Power Conduit encounter, Power Conduit, and then the Warthog run. Maybe Warthog run start, encounter, Warthog run. Let's get those scripts set up now. Okay, these are all the end mission scripts. Let's comment all of them out. And this is where we start. Script. Dormant encounter, power, conduit. Warthog. Alright, just get the skeleton of that encounter set up. And then encounter Warthog. The last encounter of the mission. And I need trigger volumes for the starting these encounters set up. Be this trigger volume that starts. Yeah, power conduit encounter in vanilla. Rename this TV power conduit start. Right, and then go over here. I'm not sure how soon I will need to spawn enemies here. But best to get the Warthog run trigger started relatively early. So let's put it right here. TV Warthog run start. All encompassing whole space here. Possible to I should I add an invisible wall on top of here? Because you can get on top of here and walk. I guess there's no reason to. If the player decides to be an idiot and walk on top of the power conduit to get into the encounter, that's one way you could do it, I suppose. I just need to make absolutely sure that if the player jumps into the grav lift here without getting a vehicle, that there is a ghost available, like, right at the start. Also need to pepper ghosts all throughout, too, just in general. Now let's just dot ghosts all around this, starting out, as we're designing this. Probably not going to keep all of these spawns, or going to make some of them different vehicles, but good to have nonetheless. Getting the skeleton of everything set up. You never know what kind of trouble players can get themselves into. Never know. definitely not keeping all these ghosts spawned in here regardless. Okay, and then we need to get the tripping infrastructure just for the tubes to work. Definitely gonna have them work in a much more elegant, polished way in the final product, but need to get them fundamentally working right now. Alright, so just gonna go sleep until volume test objects. PV tube 01. Just gonna activate the PVS depending on where you are. This definitely will not. Scripting it this way definitely wouldn't work for co-op, but just get it working so we can design the encounter on this stream. Make it work in a real way later. One thing we do need to do is, as soon as we start the power conduit encounter, we need to get the PVS set object onto the starting tube. That is always ready to work. Okay. Now, let's get over here. Enter this trigger volume, we'll activate this one. PVS clear, sleep 1 tick, and PVS set object tube 1, and then repeat for all the other ones. Thank you, Griff, for the $9 super chat. Don't know if you've already addressed it, but it'd be cool to see carriers and cruisers fighting each other in the skybox and have flight control falcons engaging banshees from in Everclad. We are definitely going to do interesting stuff with the skybox with each of these tubes. That is for sure. Alright, get trigger volumes for all the rest of the tubes. Third tube. This should be the last tube. There is no tube here, it's just a lift that launches you into the end of the mission. Then I need to put the ending trigger volume here. Okay. Let's get the game 1 conditions all set up. What is the trigger volume for this? TV, E12 end. Where's that? Drag that over here. All the way over there. Get over here. Probably going to be the largest map in the entire game. Get over here. Okay, you're being difficult. I'm just going to replace a new trigger volume for you. And also rename you TV Mission End. TV Mission End. Okay, and that will trigger like right here. And then we'll force the player out of their vehicle to boot. So it matches up with the ending cinematic. Alright, sleep until volume test objects end. And then unit exit vehicle. Is there a thing for making players exit vehicles? Player exit vehicle. Vehicle exit. Unit exit vehicle. Player 0 and player 1. Okay, let's load all that up and see if it all works. Need to make a teleport script for it, testing for it. Where should I spawn the player for this? On the grav lift? Probably place them down here. CSP or the grav lift. There it is. And then if I need to test the Warthog run on its own at all, I can just put the script for it. Okay, telepower. Sleep through all of the tornado scripts again. Okay. It would be nice to have the power conduit visible in some way when you're seeing the skybox there. That'd be kind of tricky to pull off, though. Unless we were to make a custom skybox thing just for the tube. Whee! Alright, stuff's happening. Brutes flood fighting each other. Cortana's yelling at me. We gotta go, go, go! Epic Halo theme kicks in. The fucking PVS for this thing isn't working. We're off to a great start. Off to a wonderful start. Let me just wake the Warthog run script. Where is the fucking PVS? This. Not created? Should be. That. Thank you, Griff, for the $5 super chat. Here, love following this mod. It always seems remarkably calm and high charity for a civil war flood invasion. It does. Why does it work here? Okay. Can I put a launcher at the end of the platform? We're gonna have some kind of visual effect going along with it. Fucking bonk. This poor Warthog is gonna be so used and abused by the end of this. Donut. Okay, the scripting for this is working. Yep, works great. Totally shippable. Grab a ghost. Elu Tran, aka Car Crash Simulator. Woo! Man, that was even faster than the Warthog. And then whee! Game 1. You won! What is the ending cinematic? Cinematic, fade to white. CO7, outro. Woo, yay! Alright, ship it. All good.
Chief, when you get to Earth, good luck.
I'll run through the truth.
He'll make a girl a promise.
If you know you can't keep it.
Anna is lit up there for some reason. Wow. That's high charity. Okay. What should we work on next? Place any of those rings around the conduit from the cutscene in the Warthog run? Yep. I'm gonna touch up the ending visuals for the end segment there. Alright, let's keep working on the... Let's get the dialogue in, actually. On his dialogue in. That'll do a lot to help things feel authentic and legit. Where should I put Cortana's... I should probably put Cortana's hollow pedestals near both of the vehicles. Somewhere where the player can still easily see them. How close I should put the Warthog. I definitely want the Warthog on the right side because that's the direction its driver's seat is oriented. I could put Cortana in front of them too. Like here would also make sense. He needs to be close to both of the vehicles, and in any case. It'll be very interesting scripting the fucking Pelican to drop the Warthog in the exact place and orientation that I want it. Not only the Warthog, but also the Gun Goose. That's gonna be a gigantic pain in the ass to work out. I won't subject you to that on this stream, because that'll be a lot of repetition and minor tweaking. Oh lord. The Warthog needs to come out of the Pelican's cargo hold, and then the Gun Goose needs to fall out of the Pelican's passenger bay. That's gonna be a fucking logistical nightmare. Of like AI path scripting, timing. Thank you, David. $5 super chat.
H2R. Need that like H2O. Also can't wait for what you got planned for the great journey.
What happens if the vehicles fall off? I'm gonna make it so these vehicles aren't affected by physics at all until you get close to them, just to make absolutely sure that that doesn't happen. Even then, you don't have to have a vehicle to be able to get launched in, and as soon as you get launched in, there's a ghost right here for you, anyway. It's gonna work the same way as Uncut, where a pelican being chased by a flood pelican being chased by banshees conveniently drops the vehicles right in front of you where you need them. Okay. Let's first just get Cortana set up here. Power conduit. Oh, not this squad. Oh. Just we'll place her in on whichever one the player is closest to. Yes, expand. There she is. Get a trigger volume associated with the spawning her in. This, you know? And then there is some dialogue that we're going to use for her. Cut. Know exactly which one I want to use. Wake. Or conduit. Script here. All of the dialogue, including all of the dialogue she has if you're just lingering and not going where you're supposed to. Okay, AI, play, line, app player, Cortana, 0130, I think it is. I'll implement all of her other dialogue later.
The ship has started its launch sequence. It's detaching from the city's power grid. Floor it.
Oh, it's not that line of dialogue. That's the line of dialogue I want her to play when you get into the first tube. I think it's 2940, actually.
Get to the conduit. I'll keep it attached to the ship as long as I can.
That's the one we want. Okay. He beckons you to get into the vehicle. Or should I have to wait until you're in the vehicle before playing this? Great. Also, we need to play her initial dialogue when you're starting this encounter. Let's grab this script here. This whole script back in. A timer for the run? No, not on screen anyway. There's going to be a timer. It's going to be handled in a very specific way that's not necessarily shown on screen. Because Halo 2 lacks the script functions for showing timers on screen that Halo 1 had. Halo Bungie loves to get rid of script functions that were nice in Halo 1. strip this part here. Trigger volume that encompasses this whole space here. That Cortana will use to yell at you. Probably redo this whole script at some point. Thank you, Imaginar, for the $2 super chat. We have one more mission after this, yes. Sleep, the dialogue script, sleep forever, 12. Tickle. Funny thing to call it. Alright, for the Warthog run, we need a Cortana script. TV, the ones. Probably get some, like, see if we can find a music track, just to act as a placeholder here while we're testing this, like, for the Warthog run. Yeah, Cortana's model has been adjusted slightly, and her shaders have been adjusted a lot to allow her facial features to be a lot more readable. Right, AI. Play line on object none, 0, 1, 30. That'll be Cortana's line that plays here. I need to erase Cortana. Actually, no, wait. Proper thing you do to erase her. Then Cortana will have another line at the end of this whole run, near the very end. Get you to move it. Probably play that here. TV, Tube 04, near end. Alright, and that line is 2950. Alright, let's see if we can find a cool, if Halo 2 has like the Mjolnir mix in the tags itself. MGS Bungie. That's the intro sound. Halo Rev short. So fucking loud. Okay, this plays in the bridge on Metropolis. There's the Halo. There's the Mjolnir mix in the tags itself. We have the credits music, of course. So that probably won't work. It has the opening monk chant. New Halo, Steve CK. This might be it. Might be what they play for the Scarab. Yeah, this is what they play for the Scarab. That's not the full theme. I think this is yielding. Yeah. Is this one? That's the Hunter game. Earth City, blue. Okay, that's probably something we'll have to re-import into the game, but we can use this really for a temporary placeholder. So let's go into the scenario, add a sound looping thing. Thank you, Yup, for the resub. 25 months is very admirable. Thank you. Okay. 07 B7. Oops, I just made a fucking AI globals tag. That is not what I want. Sound looping tag. Sound looping. 7B7. And tracks stops music. Theme. all of the sound tags plugged into this. In loop. Alt trans in. Alt out. And alt loop. Okay. Let me this. Make a script for it. Okay, now just for a bit of flavor while we're working on this, let's choose a point where it starts the alternate loop. I think the final tube would probably be a good place for that. TV tube 04 start. Sleep until volume text to start. Correct. And sound looping set alternate. Probably also a better idea to have this fade out on stop instead of having an out. Fade out, stop. Fade out duration 6 seconds. Alt fade out duration 6 seconds. Let's test that. Is Neo's track from Uncut a consideration? Yeah. Just haven't decided on anything yet. Why the fuck is that so loud? What the fuck? Why is that so ungodly loud? The fuck? Halo 2. Also, I'm in the trigger volume that sets it to that it's alternate. Let me step out of that. Alright, much better. The loudest thing I've ever heard in Halo 2. Right. Let's give this a spin, and now that the music and Cortana's dialogue is set up. Hopefully the power conduit script works this time. Here's the dialogue script. It's until I'm in this trigger volume. Where is that trigger volume? Hold on, the AI dialogue counter. So, also, don't place. I placed my own Cortana. Thank you very much.
I knew the Covenant was
There we
good
go.
at repurposing Forerunner technology, but this is amazing. They've been using the Forerunner ship's engines as an energy source for the city. The ship isn't so much launching as it is disengaging, uncoupling itself from High Charity's power grid. Stopping truth, that's all that matters.
Very informative, Cortana.
Now is the time of our unfolding.
Why is Sapien so fucking loud?
Has cause.
Dialogue here is probably going to overlap a
You've
bit.
got to stop truth. I've got to handle
Get outta
the
here.
Index. Go. Get to the conduit. I'll keep it attached to the ship.
If you would falter, know this. One final effort to all that remains.
The ship has started its launch sequence. It's detaching from the city's power grid. Warwick.
I should time the music to in time with Cortana's finish after Cortana's dialogue there. Also, I need to set up a system to where Cortana's dialogue will wait until Truth's dialogue is finished before playing. The supersonic speed you're launched out at is still so funny. Whee! Bonk. Warthog, please. Anna, where's your dialogue? Oh, the wrong trigger volume for that. This is what's supposed to play.
I've lost control of the conduit. It's breaking away from the ship.
And the finale dialogue, and then BAM! At the very end. Here's the cutscene. I need to extend that trigger volume to the end of the mission. Oh, G-Play cinematics wasn't enabled. Let me fix that. That into the script. Make net cinematics able to be played again. Okay, let me give that another spin. Let's try the gun goose this time.
Now is the time of our unloading.
Oh, there's no Cortana for the dialogue to play off of. I should make that play off of anybody.
Back to the conduit.
If you will falter, know this.
Regardless.
One final effort is all that remains.
Ruth is yapping without a care.
The ship has started its launch sequence. It's detaching from the city's power grid. For it.
Could be a regular mongoose? Oh, I wasn't aware we were anti-fun in this chat. I refuse to be flipped over. If you make your own Halo game, which Halo game would you use as the basis? People blaze Halo 3 ODST's engine up a lot. I'd probably use that. And it'd be good if screen impulses played when you're in vehicles in Halo 2, where you can shake the screen. That'd be very fun to use for these segments, but I don't think that's not something that works in Halo 2, fortunately.
I've lost control of the conduit. It's breaking away from the ship.
Floor it! Wah! Yeah! Okay, skeleton for the Warthog run is all set up. Also, I have to tell the music to stop at some point.
Chief, when you get to Earth, good luck. They'll make it.
Put into the script here. Check until the mission end. Volume. Stop the music. Stop that jazz music. Oops, this is the cinematic BSB. All right. What next? I don't think if we'll have enough time on this stream to start designing the enemy placements, spawn timings, and all of that. And also, I need to have a closer look at the cuts mission scripts that Bungie added, and also VonDoom's interpretation of all of that and where he decided to place everything. We could take a look back through Uncut and examine all of what VonDoom did with that. Also need to set back up the power conduit encounter as well. Alright, let's take a look back through Uncut. Wish there was an easier way to get through the get to the Warthog run. Take a look at everything he did for the enemy placements here. I mean, I know there's a speedrun trick to get into the mission end trigger volume here, but I would end the mission as opposed to getting straight to the Warthog run.
That creature beneath the library, that grave mind, used us. We were just a diversion. An amber clad was always its intended vector. I'll disable this list.
In order to get to the Warthog run itself, I think every single encounter script needs to fire off in sequence.
Shall we let the flood consume our holy city? Turn high charity into another village.
There's a conduit connecting this tower.
Also, let me find that theoretical pile of cut scripts that Bungie left out. I think it's all down here. The Warthog run would be E13, right? 13. Yeah. Okay, these should be all the cut scripts that were supposed to go into the Warthog run. Looks like E12 was also a part of the Warthog, considered part of the Warthog run as well, because there's a bunch of ghost spawns here with Flood and Flood Howls in a lot of them. Flood getting into vehicles. Tank Rush, I bet that's referring to a Juggernaut. And there's also E14. Shadow with Covenant in them. But drone spawn in the what I think is the upper mausoleum encounter. Not relevant. Some more groups for the Warthog run. Banshees for the Warthog run as well. And this is where the actual for some reason there's a bunch of Quarantine Zone and Sacred Icon encounter names here. Okay, that's where all of the stuff, I think. For AI, movement speed, for anything that isn't the player, movement speed is entirely dictated by animations, yeah.
It's unusually formidable. Flood spores have contaminated the city's life support infrastructure. The filtration systems are overloading.
Overload my filtration systems, please.
And it shall not defeat us.
Arrogant creature. Your death is instantaneous.
The amount of flood biomass is increasing exponentially. There are reports of infestations in every district.
Maybe using what Neo did for Uncut, music-wise. We don't know yet.
The security systems in this part of the tower are particularly robust.
Let me in. I missed the fucking trigger volume. Fucking elevator. There we go. Dude, Halo 2 is so fucking shit. This is on easy difficulty. It takes 3 point-blank shotgun rounds to kill a brute.
Will not be the end of us. It is but one last hurdle before the journey and salvation.
Brood and elite ships are engaging one another all around High Charity. I'm running out of options, Chief. I can't stall the launch sequence much longer. The next lift will take you up to the conduit. Hurry! If it makes
Why are we
you feel
playing
any
uncut?
better, I'm locking
So we
the door
can
behind you.
learn from all of
Blood off your
the
back.
speculative spawns that VonDoom did. See what sort of direction we should go for each and every encounter of the Warthog run.
This is amazing. They've been using the Forerunner ship's engines as an energy source for the city. The ship isn't so much launching as it is disengaging, uncoupling itself from High Charity's power grid. Stopping truth, that's all that matters.
Now is the time of our unworlding.
Right this way.
Moment we shall all become as gods.
They're really going at it. Hi. Okay, let's see what the composition of each encounter looks like. Got Neo's music there. Okay, we got the ghost right at the start. And we got these ghosts zooming in as you get up here. I like. Got a bunch of dudes fighting up top there as well. Ghost zooming over this this ledge here is really cool. And then for this part here, it looks like there should be a ramp here with the level design because the texture here is all stretched and shit. So this it makes me feel like there's supposed to be a ramp coming up here. Or at least on the mirrored side of this. You get over here. I wonder if you can like feasibly drive up here like this. No, it's a little too steep. It'd be cool if you could do that though. Like half pipe physics. Yeah, just dudes firing at each other up there. We're gonna have actual working carrier forms that explode correctly when you run into them. We're gonna have splatterable infection forms and all that I use a lot on Quarantine Zone. A bunch of infection forms here, which in Halo 2 by default cannot be splattered at all because Halo 2 fucking sucks. I managed to get a system for that working in H2R. Wah! Does Halo 3 have that issue as well? I think they could be splattered in Halo 3, but they do rock your vehicle around, which not ideal. I really like this spawn here, the shadow placement here. One thing I definitely want to do with the Warthog run is I want to place objects in a way that forces the player to bob and weave left and right as opposed to going straight for the whole time. Let's here. I remember on VonDoom's dev stream working on this mission that he tried to get a Spectre with Flood working at some point. There's a Wraith here. The turret over there is bunch of recharge battery stations here as well. Can you stop being so rude? There's a big Covenant position up here. About down low. There's the Wraith, the Ghosts. Bunch of more carry forms, and this is where the Juggernaut is. Juggernaut and Hunters. Cool. I should definitely have Hunters at some point through here. A Rocket Flood, though? That's fucking evil. So evil. Stop it. No, my Warthog. And then I think that's it. More Flood. Another Juggernaut here. Plop. And that's pretty much it. Just 2 tubes, which we've extended to 4. Okay. I have a pretty good idea of the makeup of the what was the speculative makeup of what this encounter would have looked like. Now the question is how to expand it to accommodate 4 tubes that you go through as opposed to 2. Fucking Sapiens being so annoying in control of my mouse and I can't click off screen. Okay. Yeah, we definitely want things to be climactic. Like, climactic at the last tube. So we want to pull out all the stops here. Whereas we want to go easier on the first one. I think I'll definitely have the ghosts rushing over the slope in the first one. That is a really cool visual to start things out with. Then probably have a bunch of carriers, Juggernaut, Hunters here. Give the rocket launcher an empty reload animation, transition smoother from reload. Sure, I know what you're referring to. Yeah, I don't know, it looks fine. Also, I don't think Halo CE has a empty reload animation for the rocket launcher. That's just like, for some reason, when the rocket launcher in Halo CE is empty, after pulling it out, pull out a rocket with an empty mag, it'll play the fire animation for some reason and then transition into the reload animation. But yeah, that is I think that'll do it for today's stream, guys. I'm feeling pretty tired and we covered a lot of fucking ground with the Warthog run. So, yeah. I will continue sprucing this up, polishing everything up regarding this, designing the encounter for this whole stretch, and we'll make sure this mission goes out with a bang. Thank you to everybody who donated, especially those who donated through Streamlabs, where YouTube takes a 0% cut. And I'll see you all, if I do more streams, it'll probably be polishing streams, so we'll see. We'll see if I do another one next week. Alright, good night. Good evening.